Hey everyone, in this video we're going over how I would build a $1,000 portfolio using 5 of my top crypto picks of 2022. So this is going to include 3 separate portfolios with different risk management, and we're going to even put our money where our mouth is and set up these portfolios and see how they compete against each other. For those of you that are new to the channel, my name is Ben. I've made over 6 figures trading crypto. I'm on a journey to 10K a month of passive income to spend more time with friends and family, and I want to help you all do the same. All right, story time. So on the last day of my 3rd grade school year, I did something I never thought I'd be brave enough to actually do. I told my crush that I liked her. It was probably the most awkward thing ever. I was a very shy kid, so this took a lot for me to confront her. Let's just say her name was Emily. After school ended, I had been running this plan through my head for days, wanting to tell her I liked her before summer started. So I decided to just go for it, and I ran up to her and I said, "Hey Emily, I like you." And then I just ran away. She's probably like, what the heck? And it turns out she never forgot about it, because then later in 6th grade, she was telling all her friends about how I did that while we were on the swings, and they were just teasing me about it. And as any boy would do, I denied it all, and she never let me live it down. All right, back to the video. We have created 3 different portfolio examples for how I would build a $1,000 portfolio. And let's go over the first option. These are just the 3 options that I'm sharing, but of course you can make yours even more risky if you want, or more conservative. I think it's a good idea to start with just 5 coins, because it won't be too much to handle tracking, and you'll have more in these 5 coins. So when it does go up, it'll impact your portfolio a lot more than if you were to just have like $20 in it. So the first option starts out with 30% in Bitcoin, 20% in Ethereum, 20% in Crow, 15% in Polkadot, and 15% in Matic. Now, this one being the most conservative option will hold up the best when the markets are down and take off the slowest when things are green. And this is something that you'll learn as you're setting up portfolios like this, and it's a good learning experience to implement in your future portfolio building. If your portfolio is only made up of super risky altcoins, you'll see it go up really fast, and you'll also see it crash really fast. So it's important to learn how to balance out a solid portfolio that can handle the crashes but also performs well in a bull run. One of the things to also keep in mind when you're starting with a small amount to build a portfolio is you want diversification, but you also don't want to spread yourself too thin. So I think it's important to start with 3 to 5 coins, so you can have at least $100, if not a couple hundred in each of them. If you spread yourself too thin and have like $20 in each coin, when it doubles or triples, it won't make a big impact in your portfolio versus if you had a few hundred. For this reason, we've stuck with just 5 coins for each of these portfolio examples. Even though this option is conservative, we still have 70% of our portfolio built up of altcoins. When you're starting with smaller amounts, I think you should have a majority of your holding in altcoins, and as your portfolio grows over the years, you should accumulate more and more Bitcoin to where it's over 50% and even as much as 70% of your total portfolio. If you want to hear more about this complete breakdown, check out my recent video on how to build a strong crypto portfolio after this. There are Bitcoin and Ethereum at the top of the list of CoinMarketCap, and then the top 20 coins, which would include Polkadot, Matic, and Crow, and those would be considered large cap coins. I'd say anything under top 20, maybe even top 40, would be considered a mid cap until around 200 or so on CoinMarketCap. Then anything under that would be a small cap. Later in our other 2 portfolio examples, we use Tezos, LRC, and CRV, which would all be considered mid caps in my mind. And then the lower you go down on the list of CoinMarketCap, the increase in risk that there is, and also the potential increase in reward. So this is how we decided to build these portfolios. So option 2 is made up of 30% in Ethereum, 30% in Crow, 15% in Polkadot, 15% in Matic, and 10% in Tezos. So option 2 is a mid-risk portfolio based on these 5 coins that we're holding. I personally think most of these portfolios are relatively conservative in general, so this is just a mid-risk between the 3 of them. And the last one is the riskiest of all. That means that there are much riskier portfolios that you can make than these 3. Now, we aren't holding any Bitcoin in this portfolio, and we've made it all up of altcoins. And this is because, like I said before, there will be more movement in the altcoins. And so the idea is, as you're growing, you want to accumulate more and more Bitcoin as your portfolio grows. We even added a mid-cap altcoin to the mix, which will give us a little bit more risk and more potential reward. I chose Tezos because I truly think it's been undervalued for a very long time and hasn't even gotten close to its potential. I think part of this is due to the lack of marketing from the team and updates from them. They need to be more active online to show what they're working on so that we can stay up to date with the project. If they fix this, I could see it being in the top 20 or even the top 10 where I think it deserves a spot. Now the last option is the riskiest one, and it's made up of 40% Crow, 20% Matic, 15% Tezos, 15% LRC, and 10% CRV. The funny thing is just yesterday, LRC made an announcement about their partnership with GameStop in their NFT marketplace, which the beta is live and the full NFT marketplace is coming soon. So I set up these portfolios about a week ago, and LRC had almost doubled in price. So you'll see the biggest impact in the portfolio with this growth. CRV is also a great project that I think has a lot of potential and is undervalued. It alongside with LRC are around 70 to 85 in market caps, on coin market cap, so they're more mid caps with a higher risk, technically not like a low cap. Now, of course, you can make a portfolio much riskier than that. These are some great starter examples that you can use to set up a new small account. You should focus on some big long-term holds in your portfolio and work on building those out. As your portfolio increases in size, you can start to diversify and take more risk in the small caps and hidden gems. Use small percentages for the more risky plays and make sure you're willing to lose on those plays. All right, now we're here on my Pionex account and we're going to look at the bots that we created. So first one you can see is the riskiest one, the Crow Matic XTZ, and this one is up about $240 or roughly 24% since we created it. And then the next one is the Ethereum, and it is up about $180 or roughly 18% since we created it. And then the last one, the most conservative one, is up $165 or roughly 16.5% since we created it. So first thing we're gonna go over is how to create these bots on here. And so what the first step you'll do is you'll create the bot. You'll click on this button down here. And then it's gonna give you 3 options. And for these bots that I created, I use the rebalancing bot. So you're gonna click on that and click create. So that's step 2. And then step 3 is you're gonna click on multi-coin mode. If you did dual coin mode, then you can only use 2. But since we are using 5, you're gonna click on this one. And then it's gonna take you here. And then you're gonna click on customize up here. So that's the next step. And then step number 5 is you're gonna want to add new coins. So you'll click on that. And then I'm just gonna do an example. So I'm just gonna pick like Bitcoin, Ethereum, and then I'll just pick the first 3 altcoins. And then once you have your altcoins picked, you'll hit confirm. And then step 6 is you're gonna change the percentages. So let's say I wanted to just do 25, 25, 20, 15, 15. So that it's equal to 100%, whatever percentages that you want to do. Once you do that, you need to add the amount that you want to invest. And so I don't have any right here. And then you just put in however much you want. It might require you to do a minimum of like $100 or a couple $100. I don't quite remember exactly what the minimum was, but for these examples, I did $1,000. So you just do $1,000 if you had that in there. And then you click on create. So step 7 would be create. And then once you've created it, it's gonna look like one of these. And the final step is gonna be, you're gonna click on detail right here. And this is to change the parameters. So you'll go to parameter, you'll click on that. And this is why it's a rebalancing bot. So you'll click on this and you can either do it by time or by threshold. By time is you can set it so every 5 minutes, it'll rebalance your bot for you, or every 15 minutes, every hour, every 4 hours, or you can pause the rebalancing. And then by threshold, you can change it so it's every 0.25%. So if one of the coins that you're holding is like higher, so like let's say for example Polkadot is at 15.25% or 15.26%, so it's like 0.25 over, then it's going to sell some Polkadot and put it into the other coins to try to just rebalance it. And so you can do it up 0.5% or 0.75 or 1%. You've been using it at 0.5% for this bot, and you could see just recently with the volatility, it's had some rebalancing pretty often, like a couple times today, like 4 times today, or 5 times today, or 6 times today, and then a few times yesterday. So you can see 116 transactions. For this other one, I have it set up that it's deviated every 0.25%, so even more often, and it has 81 transactions right now. And then this last one, I have it set up so every 4 hours it'll rebalance, and it's only done 13 transactions. If you click on it, this one, the time ones, if there's not enough changes where it's worth doing any trades, it'll say this: the price changes smaller than minimum required volume, so the bot skipped this time. So this one is going to be like the least amount of transactions. It's done a few recently, but it'll do this a lot, and that's also the most conservative one, so there usually aren't as many changes to the percentages. And then if you want to look at the percentages, you can go to detail and you go to balance change, so you can see the amount that we started with versus what we're at right now, and the different number of coins basically. So you can see we have a little bit more Bitcoin, a little bit less Ethereum, a little bit more Polkadot, and a little bit more Crow. But overall, it's pretty similar. Those numbers are going to stay pretty close. And another cool feature on the parameter is you can set a take profit percentage. So on one of the other ones, so it shows me at 16%. So if I wanted to hit 16% and take profits, it would just close the bot and then it would just take the profits from that point. If I did 100%, then it would sell everything and I would basically make $1,000. So I would have $2,000 instead of $1,000. If I did 1,000%, then it would be $10,000 instead of $1,000. But another feature that I'll probably use really soon is you click on this button with the 3 dots and you can withdraw investment. So you can withdraw investment and you can select how much. I could do like 700 basically, and I'm pretty sure that's just in profits from these 3 bots. So you can hit withdraw investment and then you can select the amount that you want to withdraw. So what I would probably do is withdraw just the profits that I've made. So on this spot, like $240, I'd withdraw that and get it back to like 1,000. My thought process with this is kind of the core number compounding, which I did a video about that. I think I'd like apply that kind of strategy with this. And then once it gets under 1,000 again, like maybe like to 800, I'd put that $240 back in and just try to keep it like relatively around those numbers. So I'm probably gonna end up doing that pretty soon. And I'll probably take profits from each of these bots that I set up. Now the downside to this is, like for example, LRC went from 70 cents basically when I first bought it all the way up to around $1.20. My sales started happening at 70 cents, 75 cents, every couple cents, all the way up to like $1.20. And so since it sold a little bit every single time, the average sell price is probably somewhere right in between the middle of that. So around like 95 cents or so. It's currently sitting at like $1.10 or $1.05. So technically I sold a little bit early. So I sold like 10% lower than where I could have been. It could be like a positive or negative thing depending on how you look at it. The positive thing is it's like one of the safest ways to take profits, but the negative thing is you're missing out on a lot of potential that could have happened. So another downside to this is the bot isn't automatically taking profits. You have to manually go in there and take profits yourself. So it basically is just selling a little bit of coin to rebalance it and put it into the other coins that aren't as up as much. And so you won't really see a big impact. It's basically just going to level out your portfolio so that it grows at like a safe and consistent way. So if the market went down like 10%, it would just come back down to like 1,100 for this example. A lot of like profits you might have not necessarily made because you never took profits. So you have to like manually go in there and take profits. So overall, I think these rebalancing bots are pretty cool, and I'm definitely going to use them for smaller accounts in the future. I'll continue with these 3 bots and I'll do updates on how it's going. And what I'm going to plan on doing is taking profits, like I said, and using that core number compounding strategy that I've talked about in a previous video. And so I'll be taking some profits off back to the $1,000, and then I'll wait and see if it comes back down. If it comes down 10 or 20%, comes down to like $800, then I'll put that back in to get back up to 1,000. And then I'll just keep the rest on the side. So hopefully this has been helpful for you, especially if you're setting up a $1,000 crypto portfolio and seeing different options that you can do. And if you found this video helpful, check out my video where I show how to build a strong crypto portfolio, whether you're using 1,000, 10,000, 100,000, etc. And thank you so much for watching. And remember, as always, keep it in the green.